So hi everybody, do you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, calm down, it's okay. I know you guys are excited. I have bad news. You're not going to lose all the weight during this hour. Okay, can you guys hear me now? You guys still don't have sound? Oh, it's okay now. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay. Don't look, you're in the right place. It's all fine. You didn't miss too much. I will start over again. Hi everybody. So here I am. Here I am. We're celebrating Shakti tonight, in our full moon ritual. So I feel kind of Shakti-esque today, and I hope that you're feeling beautiful and divine too. So good to see you. Okay. So don't worry, you're in the right place. I haven't really started yet. If you're hearing me now, this is the beginning. I want to welcome you. So glad. You can hear. Don't be frustrated. We're all together. You're all good. Okay. So what I was saying before you could hear me was this is our first ever course on weight loss and energetics and trauma healing. And so I taught a class for my holistic healers. I teach a program, an annual program called the Holistic Healer Program. At the end of it, you're certified as a holistic healer because I'm teaching gemology and I'm teaching geology and I'm teaching aromatherapy and magic and ritual. And so if you're in holistic healer, you already had a version of this. I did a special class for them. This is the 2.0. And by 2.0, what I mean is I'm gonna cover off on the basics because for some of you, you didn't see that. You didn't see that first class. So I'm going to cover off on the basics so that you kind of didn't miss anything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a model that I created for tonight for you. You have to remember I was a professor, so I like to have charts and graphs and data. And I think you like that too. There's a certain extent to which we all kind of enjoy the airy-fairy, but I'm also sort of a brass tacks girl. I like to know what's happening, what changes I want to make, how to make them, specific suggestions. I like tips and recipes. I'm a very focused, tactical person. So if you are too, tonight's going to be very special for you, and I think you're really going to appreciate it. That's my goal anyway. So I created a model for you. I actually put this in the shop today. This is on Canvas. So if you want to own this after tonight, you can actually go. I put it in the shop with Alkalize, which is a new perfume, and an avocado-based perfume with all of the essential oils known to alkalize your system. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about why this is one of the most important things you can purchase. If you're serious about losing weight with me, did you know that your skin is the third biggest organ in your body responsible for alkalizing your system? Did you know that? After your lungs and your kidneys, it's your skin. And so you can actually use essential oils on your skin to act as an exterior alkalizing agent. So this isn't for internal use. But anyway, Alkalize is really special, and it's the first perfume I've made that's actually suspended in avocado oil. And that's because avocado is one of the most important alkalizing agents that you can work with. So I'm really excited about that. But tonight, what you're going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through this, okay? Step by step, because the core of tonight is this. I'm going to walk you through kind of like what the main points are that I'm going to be focusing on tonight in our class. And I'm so excited to have you here. There's a little bit of a siren for a moment. Are any of you brand new to working with me? Have any of you never taken a class or been with me in an online environment? Anybody brand new to working with me? I would just love to be able to say hi to you and know that you're here for the first time. If you're not seeing anything, you need to check your system because we're all live and everything's a go and the sound is really, really good. So if you're not seeing anything, check your system. Maybe send a private message on Facebook if you're having trouble. We can try to help you. Okay, cool. So if you're new, I would love to tell you hello and to welcome you. So tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the basics. I'm going to talk to you about sort of hi Amy, so good to see you. Sunray Sorceress, what a beautiful name for you too. Hi Krista, and Jennifer is new too. So I'm going to walk you through the basics of what I have done over the last year. What I'm teaching you is what I have done. This isn't a theory. This isn't, I don't know if it works, but good luck. This is, I have completely transformed my health and my body over the last year in a profound way. And I had certain criteria that I needed for a system to do that, okay? So what I'm sharing with you is, hi G-Dub, second class, welcome to you here, and Loretta's first time. So, and Lindsay's new too, so good. Yeah, so Poshita, you can put the alkaline oil blend anywhere on your body that you desire. The oils that are in that blend are all alkalizing agents, but they're skin safe and they're obviously suspended in a carrier oil, so it's really good for direct application. One of the ways to use essential oils if you really want quick uptake through your skin is actually to put them on your feet. It might sound crazy, but that's a place in your body where you're going to have really nice uptake of the essential oils that you use. Okay, so I wanted to change my health and change my relationship to food, and I wanted to lose the final weight. I'm actually at my ideal weight now, so I'm not losing any more weight. I wanted to reach my ideal weight, and I didn't want to do a couple of things. I didn't want to spend too much money. I didn't want to give up foods that I love. I still wanted to enjoy eating food because I'm Greek, and I'm sorry, but for us, food is love. I know that's very dysfunctional to a lot of you, but in Greek culture, that's actually not dysfunctional. As a Greek woman, if I love you, I'm going to feed you. So I had to find a way to still be able to navigate the things that I love, but in a way that was more balanced, if you will. And balanced, you're going to find that balance is the theme of tonight, because here's the trick with food, and I think you guys have all learned this. First of all, you all have to eat. It's not like you can just say, well, I'm just not going to eat anymore, and that's how I'll figure it out. We all have to learn to have a rational, reasonable relationship with food. Some of the things I'm going to tell you are going to, and Pushita's saying she's a big foodie too. I mean, Indian culture, Middle Eastern culture, Persian culture, right? Armenian culture, Italian culture, Greek culture, we're all foodies. Even down south, I mean, Australian culture. So many countries really, food is love. Food is a transaction and we share it together, and that's the important thing. It's exactly right. Cynthia's saying in German culture too, so much, right? French culture for sure. In fact, the French would say the rest of us don't even know what good food is, right? So it's important in a lot of our cultures. I'm thinking Spain and Mexico. I mean, what isn't a food culture, right? The United States actually is one where we don't emphasize the role of food with family and love. And so for so many of us, that's right, in Caribbean culture too, for so many of us, it's become a dysfunctional relationship, okay? We expect food to do certain things for us that food can't do. Food is not going to mend your broken heart. Food is not going to be a lover to you. Food is not going to support and nurture you during difficult times. And so there's going to be a little bit of a reality check with me tonight, just in terms of what do you need to know? And then the other thing we're going to talk about is so many of the diets that a lot of us have been on. Think even paleo and low-carb diets, think the Atkins revolution, have failed us miserably. We've never, as a society, been heavier or more sick. I mentioned actually in my personal Facebook page the fact that there's actually big money being made now in end-of-life medical care. And the reason that so many of us are having extensive, sometimes 5, 10, 15 years in hospitals at the end of our lives is because we didn't stop and knock the shit off now. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have to decide at some point what matters to you. And what matters to you, I think, should be your health first and foremost. Your physical health. Forget even like how cute you look in your clothes. I'm talking about how do you feel in your body. I think freedom to move, freedom from pain. Did you know that having a highly acidic environment in your body is linked to pain? It's linked to autoimmune disease. It's linked to fibromyalgia. It's linked to a lot, rosacea, and it's linked to a lot of the challenges that we're facing. I really truly believe that this is it, you guys. And I wouldn't even be teaching this class, okay? It is the big reset. I wouldn't even be teaching this class if I didn't think this was one of the most important things I could share with you. Truly, if this is the only class you ever take from me, you may have made the right choice. Let me put it that way, okay? So tonight we're going to cover off on those bases. I'm actually going to teach you what pH level means, because when we talk about alkaline and acidic environments and alkaline environments, we're talking about the pH balance in the body, which is actually literally means the potential for hydrogen. And it's a function of how much hydrogen there is in a liter of fluid in your body, okay? And so we're going to talk, I'm not going to get too scientific with you, but I at least want to give you kind of the bare structure so you understand what pH is and why so many of our health challenges are rooted in what we're eating, right? So it's time. It's time for us to reorient our relationship to food. We can't stop eating, and we should enjoy our food, but you have every right to feel comfortable in your body, to get to your ideal weight and to be able to maintain that effortlessly. And so we're going to talk about logistics of food, what to eat, what not to eat, and so forth. The other half of this, my sweet friends, is energetic. And this is the piece that they don't teach you when you go to those big box, here's your prepackaged food. They don't sit you down and say, So, what happened to you when you were 5 is actually part of the reason why you can't lose weight. And until you clear that trauma, mostly from your root chakra, you're not going to be able to lose the weight. And so I actually have customers come to me and say, I'm barely eating any calories. I've given up all the bad things and I haven't lost a pound. And my response every time is, if you're not doing the other half of the work, which is clearing the trauma, balancing and aligning the chakras and opening up a clear channel for energy to flow in your body, you're not going to lose the weight. So it's 50-50, which is why I'm here. And weight around your middle is all stress, you guys. It's all stress. So we're going to talk also about how to release the stress, your adrenals, that fatigue that you're feeling. It's all linked to levels of acid in your body and trauma that you haven't healed. Is that being blunt enough for you? You are overweight because you're eating too much acid and you are not healing the trauma in your body. You fix those two things, I promise you, you will lose the weight and you will keep it off forever. Sounds simple, doesn't it? And so on the one hand, it's so simple. And on the other hand, this is the hardest work you're ever going to do, because I'm going to be asking you to go in and start to clear stuff from when you were 5, when you were 10, when you were 15, when you were 30, when you were 45. And then I'm going to be asking you to go back and actually heal stuff that your grandmother passed down to you, karmic baggage. Your mother passed down to you, your father passed down to you, your grandfather passed down to you. Then I'm going to be asking you to go in and actually look at what came to you from a past life. You don't think karma and baggage travels down that energetic DNA strand? It absolutely does. And so a lot of the things that you're feeling, and by the way, a lot of the illnesses are rooted in what has been passed down the line, either the material line, the maternal, the paternal line, the physical line, or the energetic line. And so it's time. I will say tonight, the most important thing you're going to do with me in the next 45 minutes, truly, and I want you to close your eyes for a minute, because part of this work tonight is between you, seriously, and your spirit guides. This is between you and your creator. You need to have a little bit of a moment where you go within and you say, and I want you to call yourself by name, because this is literally what I did. One day I had said, I've had enough. Now I have a very serious autoimmune disease. So this was no joke for me. If I didn't start to regulate and get my system out of an acidic state, I was setting myself up to have other autoimmune diseases. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Autoimmune diseases are like shitty things that you collect. So if you end up with one, the likelihood that you'll end up with 5 is high. It's no joke. Also, the other thing is, if you ever have had cancer, or if cancer runs in your family, tonight is so serious for you that I almost wish I was just sitting in the room with you holding your hand. If you're worried about cancer, you absolutely have to follow what I'm telling you tonight. Any good doctor will tell you that an acidic environment is where cancer just flourishes. Cancer grows like a weed where there's acid, and it resists growth in an alkaline environment. Before we go any further, this is what I want to say. If you have a serious health condition like I do, the number one thing I want you to do before you start, so stay with me for class, but before you begin, I want you to talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor about the fact that you're going to try to alkalize your diet, that you're going to try to reduce the levels of acidity in your body by what you eat, that you're going to try and move a little bit more each day, and that your goal is to reduce levels of inflammation in your body. Now, I think you'd have a hard time finding any doctor who would tell you, no, you should definitely be highly acidic. I just want you to feel comfortable. Okay, nothing I'm telling you tonight actually is rocket science, and nothing is extreme, but I do think it's good for you to talk to your doctor and just check in. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, look at Jackie. She says, all the females in my family have died from some form of cancer. Lisa, my father just came through cancer treatment. Cancer runs kind of rampant in my family, as does autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, pretty much you name it. I pretty much have the crappiest inheritance in terms of physical disease, manifestation of disease as possible. I also have a whole line of family members who refuse to change their diet, who smoke and drink like crazy, and who also have just inherited a legacy of karmic baggage that they have not removed or cleared throughout any of their lifetimes. And it has aged them fast. I'll tell you the other hint with this too. If you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or 60s, tonight you're going to want to kiss me. Because everything I'm telling you, do you know the number one cause of premature aging on your face is too much acid in your diet? Do you know that as soon as you alkalize your system, you're going to see a decrease in the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles? I'm not kidding. It even impacts the age spots on your hands. It's absolutely unbelievable. It will blow your mind. And so it's baby steps to this. So we're going to walk through it, but I want to make sure that you take a moment and check in with your physician before you begin. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So before I do anything, whether it's teach a class or hold a ritual, I like to smudge. And I'm going to smudge for you too. And the number one thing to think about when we smudge, I'm using white sage tonight, which is just a good kind of all-purpose releaser of negative vibration. Weight loss is a vibrational exercise. Okay, weight gain is an energetic problem. And as I said in my, you can kiss me now if you'd like. As I said in my blog, if you are overweight, it's not because life has been super easy for you, probably. It's not because you didn't have any problems. It's not because you didn't experience loss or grief or tragedy. It's probably because you did experience all of those things. And instead of processing them and clearing them through the energy centers, as I'm going to teach you to do tonight, you went like this, like all of us do. Push it down, push it down. What your mom did, what your dad did, what your family's doing, what your kids are doing, what people are saying about you, what's happening at work. Layer, 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 right? And so every time, and this is what I'm telling you about right now isn't even dietary, it's shamanism, okay? Every time you have a trauma, it nests in your body. Maybe one comes and lives right here, and then what happens at work comes and sits right here, and what your partner said about you that was mean comes and sits right here. And all of a sudden you have all these little trigger points in your body. And so unless you heal those and extract them, clear the energy block, that's exactly where disease is born. And one of the main things, in fact, and this is based on a book written by a physician, okay? This isn't even a metaphysical book. What he said in the book, and it's very true, all health and all disease, so the best of your physical health and the worst of it, both begin at the cellular level. Cancer begins at the cellular level. Everything that happens in your body begins at the cellular level. When we go in and we change the pH level in our body, we are modifying the cellular level. So literally what I'm talking about is changing your entire cellular structure. And that sounds extreme, but it's really not, because that's what's happening. So, and the reality is, stuff's already happening to you at the cellular level anyway. You're either creating health today or you're creating disease. It's kind of an extreme thing to say, but I'm here telling you this partly because it worked for me and I want to share it with you. And the other reason is I don't see anybody talking about this. Do you? I see people talking about weight loss, but they're still focusing on paleo, low carb, count your calories. What I'm going to tell you tonight is I don't ever want you to count a calorie again, except for thinking about how much you move. But I don't want you counting fat grams. I don't want you counting carbs. I don't want you doing any of that, because that system, where's my little chart to show you? This whole thing is why we are sick. Okay? There isn't a single chart right now that really serves us, okay? Because charts like this still tell you eat all the meat, eat all the bread. You can still have a little sugar. It's like this is sort of a backwards take on what your body actually wants. Yeah, huh? So here we are tonight. Are you guys ready for this? I am ready for you. Okay, so I'm going to go, I have some notes just because tonight, a lot of what I want to talk to you about tonight is a little bit technical, and I just want to make sure I don't overlook anything. Okay, so let's start right off the bat with some of the more nitty-gritty information about pH level. Are you guys ready? Okay, so everything that you eat gets metabolized in your system. You know that, right? So I ate, today I had lunch, and everything that I ate for lunch today is being metabolized in my system right now. Some foods metabolize in your system as acid, and other foods metabolize in your system as alkaline, okay? And it just depends. Every food does one or the other. And there's a spectrum. The actual spectrum of alkalinity, or pH, is 0 to 14, and 7 is completely neutral, okay? So where you want to be is right about a 7. Somewhere between a 7 and an 8 is exactly where you want to be. Now, there are test strips you can buy on Amazon and other places where it's like a urine-based test, so you pee on the strip, almost like a pregnancy test, and then it will give you your number, or it'll give you a color to match, and you can actually track your alkalinity. That's a really cool thing to do. I do it. I don't track it every day. I track it every 2 or 3 days, and I'm right in that 7 to 8 range. And I'll tell you something, if I have a day like I did last weekend where a little too much bread, a little too much alcohol, a little too much sugar. The next day, first of all, I felt like crap because my body was not used to that. And then when I tested the pH, you better believe, that it had gone acidic. And it's taken me 48 hours to regulate and to get back. I'm right now back where I was. But that took, and again, I wasn't looking at the pounds on the scale. I was looking at the number on the strip, because if you are in an alkaline state, your body's naturally going to shed the weight. That's the big secret in all of this. I could not believe, and I'm being really honest with you guys, because I have struggled all my life with weight. I'm not somebody who's naturally skinny. I come from a heavy-set family. My big fat Greek wedding, think about that. That's my family. So I'm not somebody who can eat whatever she wants and get away with it. In fact, if I eat whatever I want, I would be very overweight. So I'm coming to you as somebody who's had to go through this and figure this out. I was shocked at how the weight fell off. And not only did it fall off, it fell off in proportion. And I'm in my mid-40s. Heading into menopause. So it's not like weight loss would be super easy for me right now. In fact, if you're not in menopause, you're going to have a much easier time than I even did. Maybe it won't take you a year. It took me a year, but maybe it will take you next time. So Zan's asking, can you test pH with saliva? It's a great question. I don't know of a way to test with saliva, but there probably is. So if the urine-based testing kind of drives you nuts, you can probably find a saliva alternative. I just did the pee test. And now it's a routine. Like every 2 days, I'm like, here it is, matching it up. I don't even have to look at the bottle anymore because I've kind of learned what the right colors are, and so it's easy peasy. Yeah. There's so many ways to alkalize too, and so I want to give you a lot of hope, because if you have a cheat day, like let's say you have a day where you're like, I'm going to eat all the hamburger, all the pizza, all the pasta, and that's what you do. You can still drink alkaline water. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can eat a banana or an avocado, which are or a lemon in your water, which are instant alkalizing agents, and you can still get yourself back by the end of the day. So one of the number one things I'm going to remind you is, don't consider any day a complete wash. Even if you blow it, I want you to go back and say, okay, kind of had a funky meal today. I'm not feeling so good. I'm going to use my apple cider vinegar. I'm going to have a tall glass of lukewarm water with lemon. Or I'm going to have an avocado or a banana, and I'm going to bring myself sort of back to that alkaline state. That makes sense? Very, very cool. Yeah, and there's so many different, I'm not promoting any products tonight at all. I mean, there are alkalizing supplements and things you can do. My goal has been to make this as cheap for you as possible. Okay, so, I did it without any of those things. The only thing I bought, seriously, the only thing I bought to do this, other than, produce, was apple cider vinegar, Bragg's apple cider vinegar. If you can't do ACV, then that's why I'm talking about alkalizing through your water, using your highly alkalizing agents, especially lemon in a glass of water. Still going to have some of that effect. It's not going to have the same, for me, what apple cider vinegar does, or ACV, is it literally burns through the fat. I don't know how it does it. But for me personally, this is as good as I've looked in my life. And I have 2 kids. And I was a very large lady when I gave birth to my children. So don't look at me and think, oh, she's never been heavy. I mean, I was very robust when I gave birth to my kids. I think I gained 80 pounds with my daughter and 60 pounds with my son. So please don't look at me and go, oh, that girl's never, thought about this. This is a really serious issue. And so for me to get back now in my mid-40s, I kind of think there's hope for everybody. You know what I mean? And the aging, the clarity of my skin, I mean, it's just all kinds of things. The trickle-down effects of this are really powerful. Okay, so if you are, here's what happens to your cells, okay? When your body is alkaline, your cells get more oxygen. Everything breathes, okay? And if you even think about your chakras or your energy centers, right? The whole goal of your body is to breathe. There should be a complete flow of energy through these 7 energy centers. Same thing with your cells. When they are in an acidic state, they receive reduced oxygen, which helps with the development of free radicals. If there's decreased oxygen, there's increased free radicals. That's what's creating the wrinkles on your skin. That's what's making your skin crepey and baggy. Have you seen that, where people's skin gets really crepey? It's acid. What does acid do to a battery? I mean, really think about this, you guys. This is not rocket science. I'm telling you, if you think about what acid does to things, it's doing the same thing to your hair, it's doing the same thing to your fingernails, it's doing the same thing to your skin. This is going to change the way you think about your food. So a lot of us are experiencing something called acidosis. And you can write that down if you want. You can look it up and do your research. A lot of people are living in what we call a low-grade state of acidosis, which is too much acid in your system. And I want to talk about the symptoms of acidosis. Are you ready? You tell me if any of these relate to you. Because when I was going through this, Guy is asking about the mother in ACV and being allergic to mold. I would talk to your doctor if you have a specific allergy to mold. I wouldn't think that it would affect you, but I would want you to look. Kombucha, by the way, is part of the secret to success here, but I'm going to tell you why, okay? Because for me, you don't have to drink kombucha. Again, I'm telling you guys, honestly, if you couldn't afford to buy a thing, okay, I would still need you to try and get some avocados. But other than that, you could actually use lemon juice. I think it will take you longer if you can't do apple cider vinegar, but you can use lemon juice. Lemon juice is highly alkalizing. So if you drink a glass of water with a lot of lemon juice in it in the morning and at night, and what I'm telling you is do this either right when you get up or right when you go to bed, or both if you can. Before you have any food in the morning, water with lemon or apple cider vinegar. Right before you go to bed, water with lemon or apple cider vinegar. When you are asleep, that's when it's burning all of that fat. So it's really important for you to have that routine. I'm telling you guys, so let me tell you what was happening to me. Are you ready? My hair was brittle, my fingernails were breaking. Even though I have gel on them, they were breaking. I had chronic urinary tract infections for 4 years. I was on a daily dose of antibiotics for chronic urinary tract. I then had to be on a daily dose of medication for yeast infections, because guess what the daily dose of antibiotics did? Threw me into a cycle of yeast infections. So then I had that kind of situation to handle. I was overweight, mostly around my stomach. I was feeling sluggish. I had no energy. I was snappy. I was irritable. I haven't taken a single antibiotic. I have not had a single yeast infection. I've lost about 32 pounds. My mood has changed. My skin is clear. I was breaking out. My nails are strong. My hair completely stopped breaking. I'm not kidding you. So here's what else can happen with acidosis. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot of bone brittle diseases in my family, lots of osteoporosis, lots of little old Greek ladies who are hunched over. Does that happen in your family too? Okay, so if you're highly acidic, you're going to end up with bone density problems. That's the other thing. So you have to alkalize, even if only to protect your bones. It's very important because a highly acidic environment is leaching calcium out of your bones. What does that do for you? That's going to make you end up with a bone density issue. The other thing, so Maria's saying 3 p.m. slump. That will be gone, that 3 p.m. slump, and water retention. Before I would get my monthly bill, I almost couldn't even wear rings on my finger. I have not had a single month with any water retention in at least the last 6 months. Not even a pound of water weight gain around my cycle. Craziness. Here are the other things. Are you ready? If you are experiencing acidosis, and I'll talk to you about what causes acidosis, you're going to experience bone density problems, urinary tract disorders, hormone suppression, accelerated aging, because your body can't remove the acid waste. So it's actually sending it directly to your skin, which is causing all your fine lines and wrinkles. It's going to cause kidney stones. Kidney stones are actually one of the first symptoms that people get that tell them they're experiencing acidosis. In an alkaline environment, kidney stones don't form. Crazy stuff, right? Disruption of intestinal flora. IBS is through my family. I haven't had a single day with any kind of intestinal problem since I started this program. Yeast infections. It's a breeding ground for disease, including cancer. Decreased mental capacity, including the slump from 3 to 5 p.m. Heightened oral bacteria, periodontal disease. The other way people find out that they have acidosis is that their teeth start getting loose and they end up with gum disease and they're not sure how. It's because there's too much acid in the body and it's actually eating away their gums, causing bacteria in the mouth. Fatigue and fibromyalgia. These are all the conditions and experiences that are directly linked to acidosis. Is that blowing your mind yet? And again, I don't know about you, but when I learned all of this, I got angry. I truly did. I went to my urologist, who'd been treating me for more than 2 years. I went to my primary care doctor. I went to my neurologist, who helps with my autoimmune disease. And I literally went to all three and said, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? I can change my diet and I can be free of all of this. And also getting back to an ideal weight. I was really, really upset. I'm not upset anymore because now I know how to fix it, and now you will benefit from my research. But literally, they all looked at me and said, you know, when I went to them, because I went to all 3 doctors and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this alkalizing diet. I'm going to, you know, increase the consumption of alkalizing foods, and I'm going to decrease acid. Is there any problem with that? Sorry about the siren. So I went to all 3 of my doctors and told them I was going to do this because I'm a good patient. Okay, and I really do. I respect Western doctors, so please don't take this the wrong way. But when I went to them and told them that, they said, I literally wish every single one of our patients would do what you're talking about. Good luck. Because they said, how could it be wrong? I mean, you're going to limit, you know, meat, which we know is, you know, causes all kinds of heart disease and other problems. You're going to increase your consumption of fresh fruits and certain vegetables and lots of leafy greens. You're going to drink a ton of water. You know, you're going to, you know, use apple cider vinegar, which is a huge detoxifier of the urinary tract and the digestive tract. Literally, all my doctors said, good go, and I wish that the rest of my patients would do the same. So that may be what you hear too, but I would like for you to talk to your doctor directly. So a lot of you might be asking yourself, okay, well, didn't our ancestors eat all the same crap that we do? Just in case, okay, you're asking yourself that question. The answer is they absolutely did not. Our ancestors, and again, you know, I think of like Greeks, and bread is a food group for Greeks, right? I mean, bread and a hunk of feta cheese is a complete, you know, balanced meal in Greek culture. But even the bread, you know, my relatives back in Greece, even now, the bread in Italy, even now, is not glutenized in the same way that our bread here in the States is. Our bread here in the States is toxic, and you shouldn't be eating it. I mean, I hate to put it that way to you, but you have to start to look at things as, I know it's not an SD class without sirens, you have to start to look at things as harmful to you, and that will reorient your relationship to them. I mean, if you know something is causing you health problems, then you're going to have a little bit of a different response versus feeling like you're depriving yourself of something. Does that make sense? Also, your taste will change. So I'm a coffeeaholic, or I used to be. I used to drink at least 2 cups a day, sometimes 3. I can barely drink a half of a cup anymore because it tastes like battery acid, but that's because I have changed my palate. And even what I'm drinking right now, this is made by Bragg's. It's actually like a juice drink. This is their limeade. They have a grape one. And so even if you don't like the taste of apple cider vinegar, they've actually made drinks that incorporate ACV, and I just sip this all day long. All day long. Okay. So our ancestors did not eat the same crap that we're eating. They ate meat and game, and they hunted. But you know what they did? All my research, let me tell you this. G-Dub saying, from Trinidad and Tobago, we grew and killed our own food and everything was fresh. Seriously, and I'm telling you, this is where we have diverged from our ancestors. They ate a lot of the same stuff that we did. But do you know that most of our ancestors, with the meat and game that they digested, they were also eating root vegetables? Root vegetables were much more commonly eaten by our ancestors, and they're still eaten outside the United States a lot. We don't eat them enough here. Do you know that every time you eat a root vegetable, you're alkalizing your system? It's really true. So here's the list of the root vegetables that most of our ancestors ate with the meat, which prevented their body from receiving the meat as purely acid. Does that make sense? And if I'm going too fast, can you guys give me feedback? Because I have so much to tell you in 1 hour that I'm kind of like trying to get it all to you, but I don't want to lose you. So definitely try and let me know if I'm going too fast for you. Okay, so our ancestors ate the following with their meat. Are you ready? They ate yams and sweet potatoes. They ate turnips. They ate rutabaga and jicama. They ate onions and beets and turnips. If you could even incorporate one of those into your diet every day, and I don't know what you love, and carrots. I love carrots, I love beets, I love onions. Okay, so I look to those things. I love a baked sweet potato, let me just tell you. I think that is like dessert. Have you done that where you just poke holes in it, bake it for an hour? Sometimes I do an hour and a half, really low on like 250, and then you cut it and it's just like sweet and beautiful. That will start to feel like a dessert for you. On a low carb diet, you can't have a sweet potato. I mean, that's like, you know, that's against the rules. But on this plan, it's actually one of the best things that you can eat because it's going to alkalize your system. So root vegetables. And outside the U.S., I mean, jicama, especially in certain Latin countries, right? Like you think of Cuba and other countries, like jicama's all the business. Jicama's flippin' delicious. You can cut up fresh jicama, eat it with hummus. I mean, that is, because hummus is alkaline. And so that's a beautiful snack. Carrots with hummus, another beautiful snack. So there's lots of different ways and tips that I can give you. We'll get into that a little bit tonight too. But if you love beets, if you love turnips, one of the things you can do too, radishes, a beautiful recipe, if you like Ezekiel bread, which I do because it's kind of a good bread for you to eat, is take some avocados, slice them on top. You can even toast your Ezekiel so it's a little bit nuttier flavor. Slice some avocados on top, slice some radishes on top, add a little bit of salt. I'm telling you, so much flavor, total alkalizing for your body. So if you had a really, cheat meal during the day and you think to yourself, what should I do for dinner to kind of right this wrong? A little Ezekiel bread with some sliced avocado, a little bit of salt, and a radish, a sliced radish on top, or a sliced turnip for just a little bit of crunch is going to satisfy you. I love adding, and jicama with chili powder and lime, get out of town. And mango's okay. Mango is an okay fruit for you to eat. Not all the time, but it's not bad for you either. So we'll talk about all of these things. Is this helpful so far? Is this making sense to you guys? Okay, so we're going to talk about the logistics of food and things for a few more minutes before we jump into the energetic work, which is just as important, because to me it's two parts of the same whole, if you will. Okay, so here's what you can eat. Are you ready? Here's my favorite list of all my favorite alkaline foods. And from my perspective, you can eat as much of this as you want until you're not hungry anymore. The number one thing I want to tell you is this, and this is the other big secret that worked for me, and it's not the easy part of the process, but it's like me being honest with you, okay? If you don't move a lot at night, you should not be eating a big dinner. One of the ways you can instantly lose weight is not eat a heavy meal past the time in the day when you are not moving. Now, in the United States, a lot of us are sort of famous for this, right? Like we'll have a big heavy meal at 7:30 at night and then get in bed and watch TV and go to sleep. Where does that food go? I mean, unless you're running in your dreams, which God bless you, but I'm not. In fact, my favorite line ever is, if you see me running, it's because someone is chasing me. I don't run. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't think it's very goddessy to run. I don't. Things move and it's bad for your joints. I'm not a runner. I belly dance and I dance and I like to walk, so I'll go for walks and stuff. But if you see me running, something really bad is happening to me and I'm trying to get away from it, okay? But if you run in your dreams, maybe you have special gifts, but I don't eat after 6 or 6:30 at night because my evenings are pretty chill. I'm sitting with my kids and maybe we're watching a movie or whatever, but I'm not doing cardiovascular exercise. I am very active, very, very, very active from 7 in the morning until 6 p.m. My biggest meal is right around 12:30. I have a good breakfast every day. I have something small around 5 or 6, and then I'm kind of done for the night. But that's based on my own movement schedule. Does that make sense? But here's another myth that we've been told. We've been told we can't eat carbs. We've been told we can't eat too many calories. We've been told that we have to run or do some sort of highly aerobic exercise in order to get in shape. I haven't done any of those things, and I'm just like you, with not great health and really bad genes. High five. So Helena's saying, or is it Helena? I want to pronounce your name correctly. What if you eat around 8 p.m. after an hour of exercise CrossFit? Listen, girl, if you are doing exercise and CrossFit, like between 7 and 8 p.m., I hereby give you permission to have whatever kind of dinner you want because you've just burned a metric ton of calories and your body's going to need you to replenish that. I'm talking about the rest of us, right, who, let's be honest, if we're running after 6 p.m., it's because someone's chasing us. And by the way, my belly dance teacher is coming to Full Moon Ritual tonight, and so from 6 to 6:15, she's going to lead us in a very simple routine. I'm going to have her do it online too. So if you've never belly danced before and you kind of want to learn a very simple movement and a routine, she's going to teach you some tonight, and that might be a fun way for you. You don't have to dance in front of people, but that's why I think it's kind of fun for you to see it online, because in the privacy of your own home, you might start to learn that that's a way you enjoy moving, and there's lots of fun online classes and different ways to do that too. Okay, here's what you can eat and here's what you can't eat. Are you ready? I'm going to just run through the list. Lots of artichokes, lots of avocados, lots of beets and broccoli, lots of cucumber. I love Persian cucumbers with a little bit of salt and a little bit of cayenne. It's a super, super yummy snack. I love kale and spinach and garlic. You need all the garlic. You should be eating raw garlic if you can. I love raw garlic in food, and so if you can incorporate that, you can do that too. Lots of ginger, lots of spinach, red onion, zucchini, carrots, navy beans. Do you know that you can take beautiful beans and I like navy beans, but whatever kind of beans you like, and put them in your slow cooker and actually make a beautiful bean stew with onion. That's still going to alkalize your body. Serve that on a slice of Ezekiel bread, nice and warm. It's a beautiful meal. Butter beans, pumpkin, coconut, apple cider vinegar, almonds, tofu, figs, limes, bell pepper, celery, eggs, apples, peaches, blueberries, raspberries, lemons, as many as you can eat. These are and tofu, by the way, is great too, as is hummus. These are the go-to foods. You should try to incorporate these into your diet every single day, okay? Did I go too fast? I'm actually going to write this up and put this on the event page for you, so I don't want you to have to like write this all down. It's better if you can listen to me. Anything really important I'll put on the event page, because as a teacher, I really like it if you can listen to me and focus. You'll learn more and remember more that way. If you're scrambling to take notes, then you know what I mean, you're not going to retain as much information. Okay, wouldn't that be fun? Michelle says she can come teach Zumba. Do you know how much I would love that, Michelle? I'm just saying. Okay, and so here's what you need to not eat. Now, I'm sorry, and this is a little bit of a come to Jesus moment, but if you want to lose weight, you can't eat much of what I'm about to tell you, okay? And I'll cry a river with you for a minute, because I know you're going to feel bad about this for a minute, but remember, I'm changing your life here, and this is about your health. Please stop drinking soda, and I'm telling you, I'm not being a hypocrite. I was a soda addict. If I didn't have my 2 or 3 sodas a day, I would like Jones for it. You know, it was bad. It was an addiction. Do you know kombucha has completely replaced my desire for soda because it's fizzy, has a little bit of flavor, but it's alkalizing. And so I have given up soda, except once in a while with lunch, I'll have a couple sips or whatever. I don't even drink a whole soda a day anymore. And I can't even tell you what a milestone that is. And I can't even tell you how important that is for me as someone with autoimmune diseases. We can't have soda, you guys. I mean, it's like a no, no, no. So a lot of you, Rita and Leslie, have already given up soda. Girls, you're ahead of me. I'm just telling you what was really hard for me, and kombucha has done that for me. Please minimize coffee. Drink lots of tea, but try to minimize black tea. You have to give up a lot of alcohol. I hate to say it, alcohol is highly acidic. I love red wine, and so I have not given up my red wine. But I would say maybe 3 to 4 glasses a week for me. That's kind of it. Pretty much given up hard alcohol completely. Because again, you want to talk about acidosis, you're not going to lose weight when you're drinking alcohol, and you are not going to lose weight when you're drinking soda. Maybe you will, you're not going to keep it off, and it's not going to be like my weight loss has been very contoured. If you lose weight, it might still leave you kind of chunky and weird in certain areas. It's hard to describe, but if you want a nice svelte weight loss, you got to give up soda, you got to give up alcohol. Sparkling waters are fantastic. Flavored waters are fantastic. The number one thing is, guys, get the artificial sweeteners the hell out of your diet. You know, a lot of those flavored sparkling waters, I buy them for my kids because they're all about it. When I realized how much artificial sweetener was still in those things, I was like, forget it. Now I've got my kids drinking like flavored Perrier and stuff. There's like a watermelon and a green apple, but there's no artificial sweetener because I'm trying to train their palate to get them out of the sweet stuff. But they still want the fizz. I haven't gotten my kids on kombucha yet, but I'm trying. Here's the thing, and Leslie, I'm so glad you said that. She said, I do alcohol in moderation. So do I. And here's the thing, I have to live like this. Do you know what I mean? I'm in my mid-40s. I'd like to live a long time. If I do something that makes me give up the things I love, like chocolate and red wine and goat cheese, like those are some of my favorite things in the whole world. If I had to give those up completely, I would not. So I've been able to lose those 32 pounds this year, completely keep them off, and feel like $1,000,000 without completely removing the things that I love. Does that make sense to you? Moderation. Stevia is fine. It is alkalizing. You can't have dried fruit. You need to limit meat and chicken to 3 times a week, 4 times a week max. Your other days should be hummus and salads and things like that. You can't have white rice and pasta. I'm sorry, guys, but you can't. You can have other kinds. You can have a whole grain pasta, not too often, but you can. You need to try and train your palate to not appreciate so much of the white stuff, okay? You need to give up cheese and dairy. Bye-bye, cow's milk. Can I just tell you, honestly, I think dairy is a hoax. You know, when my kids were small and my pediatrician was saying, make sure they're drinking whole milk every day, you know, the more research I did, we're not really designed to drink cow milk, guys. I mean, we're not cows. And so cow milk is for baby cows, And so you can enjoy an almond milk, which is going to be very good for you if you want to start making some beautiful green smoothies. Use almond milk. And brown rice. That's exactly right. So Katie's asking when I started. I started June of 2016. So exactly 1 year is what it took me to lose 32 pounds. And it wasn't like a sharp decline. I mean, you guys have been with me all year, right? I'm on camera 3 times a week. So hopefully you've seen it's been very steady and very gradual. But I never plateaued. I mean, it has just been down, 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 down. Sometimes very slow, like sometimes only a pound a week, and then in ounces. Do you know what I mean? Then some weeks it was like 3 or 4 pounds in a week. So it just depends. I know it's hard, guys, because even Greek yogurt, you have to try and find other sources of dairy. Goat's milk, sheep's milk, almond milk. Cow milk is bad news for you. Those lattes that you drink are making you fat. I'm not kidding you. If you are drinking cow's milk in your beverages and your coffees every day, that is the #1 reason why you're fat. And no matter how many calories you cut, you're not going to lose weight. It's like a hard fact. I do eat pistachios, though, by the way. Pistachios and almonds are good alkalizing nuts for you. And I find pistachios very fulfilling because you have to like open it and eat it and all that. There's a whole process to it. And processed food. If I see you eating anything out of a bag, I'm going to slap your hand. Nothing out of a bag. Okay? Yeah, Whole30 is close. But Whole30 isn't focusing on the acid alkaline balance. And so that's the only reason why the Whole30 needs to be looked at more closely too. Okay. Do you have any questions right now about that? Yeah, so here's the thing. You're going to have to make trade-offs, and you're going to have to watch your body and see how you do, okay? All cow's milk should go. If you're really going to do this, just let it go and try and find alternatives. Now, I love goat cheese, so that wasn't hard for me. Giving up the cheese was not hard. So you have to experiment. So what you might say is, well, you know what, Athena, I can't give up Greek yogurt, so I'm going to keep eating it, and watch your weight loss. If it stops, if it stalls, take the Greek yogurt out and see how you do. If you take it out and it doesn't affect it, then maybe you can swing it. And if you're watching your pH numbers, maybe you'll be okay with you. Okay, so what you can eat, I'm going to put the whole list because I want to get on to sort of the traumatic healing part. So I'm going to put the whole list of what you can eat in your event page in a meme for you. Okay, so that you have a constant reference guide. And just use that as a touchstone. I keep mine in my purse, printed out. I have a list that I typed up, just kind of quick notes for myself. I keep it in my purse when I go to the grocery store. It's like a constant reminder until you're trained. Then you won't need it anymore. And now I go to the store, it's all avocados, red onions, all the things, artichokes when they're in season. I'm actually growing artichokes now at home because I love them so much. And so that's helpful. Okay. You're asking about grass-fed products and raw cow's milk. I can't speak to it. Okay, so what I would say is try it and see how your body does. Your body's not going to lie to you. If it's okay, you're going to keep losing weight. If it's going to stall you, you're not going to lose weight. And that'll be a good metric for your body. Also, try eating the things that you want to eat and measure your pH. Because my body, here's the thing, other thing you need to know, my body is different than your body. Right? Maybe you're younger than me and your metabolism is faster. I've got a crappy metabolism, but maybe you have a great one. So maybe you're just going to lose the 32 pounds in 3 months where it took me a year. Do you know what I mean? But I actually deliberately wanted to take the time because in my experience, if you lose the weight slowly, you're less likely to gain it back. Does that make sense? So fruits, you have to be careful with fruits, right? Because fruits can be highly acidic. Pineapple's very acidic. So what I do is I stick with figs when they're in season. Lots of berries, blueberries and raspberries are very alkalizing for you. And so an avocado obviously technically is a fruit, so that's another one that I go to. I have a banana every day because one of the things that you find in a highly acidic environment is that your potassium level drops and your magnesium level drops because it's leaching it out of your system in order to try and balance the acid. Does that make sense? So you should also probably get yourself a really nice magnesium supplement and a really nice potassium supplement unless you can eat a banana every day, which I highly recommend. And you know what carb counting people say about bananas? They're like, don't eat a banana. Like it's the end of the world. Do you know it's one of the best foods you can eat? And it instantly takes your system out of an acidic state. So good. Your life's about to change, my friends. Okay. So let's talk about the energy healing piece of this. Are you ready? This is the real work. So I'm anointing with alkalis. And like I said, alkalis should be on the bottoms of your feet. I'm just going to put it on there now. Look at my little foot. On the bottom of your feet, because that's where your body's going to absorb it. And so if you do this right, you're going to be hitting your body with alkalizing agents from all directions. Okay. I want to talk to you about this. I'm going to stand up and kind of walk you through it, okay? Again, don't take notes on this unless you really feel like you need to, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'd like you to focus on what you're seeing on the graphic, okay? So all of us have trauma. The extra weight on your body is all the trauma that you've been through, stored as hard fat. Okay, I hate to break it to you, but all the extra weight on your body is the sadness, the anger, the frustration, the resentment, the shit that's happened to you. It's all unfair. You didn't deserve it. It's sitting on your body. And so until we heal that trauma and alkalize the system, it's not coming off, okay? So all of us have experienced trauma before. This is my effort to tell you how to heal the trauma cycle. So what happens? When something happens to you, there's a trigger or an event or a trauma. And that happens, that anchors right in your root chakra. Your root chakra is your center of feeling safe and protected in the world. What happens when a traumatic event happens to you? How do you feel? Do you feel safe or unsafe? You instantly feel unsafe. It makes you feel like there's quicksand under your feet and you're slipping, right? Have you had that feeling? Have you ever had a seriously traumatic event happen to you? Okay, trigger, event. When that trigger or event happens, there is a visceral physical response in your body, and that comes from the sacral chakra, okay? After you have that reaction to the trauma, this is everybody's cycle, by the way, okay, not just me or you. What happens to your solar plexus, which is the seat of power, it gets deactivated. All of a sudden you feel like things are happening to you and you don't have any power anymore. Does that sound familiar? So that is that. Then you have an emotional response. Your heart gets broken right here in the heart chakra. And then after that, your voice shuts down. You lose your center of truth. And so the throat chakra closes. Okay? So that is everybody's process. Something bad happens, we feel unsafe, we have a visceral response to it, we act out. That's the sacral, okay? Because that's our center of, that's sort of our animal nature place, okay? It's our sexual center. It's where all of our big, deep emotions get activated. Then we lose our power because we think somebody else has power over us. Then our heart gets broken. Then we no longer feel like we can speak about our experience because we have shame, right? How much of that is resonating with you? What has to happen is you have to get here. There has to be a desire for change. That's going to be your catalyzing force to heal your trauma. I'm going to say this to you right now in a really serious way. If you don't want things to change in your body and in your life, nothing I tell you today is going to do anything for you. You have to have that moment where you close your eyes and you say, Athena, or Amy, or Lynn, or Sarah, this is it. I want to live a long life. I don't want to spend the last 15 years of my life in a hospital hooked up to tubes. I want to see my kids grow up. I want to be healthy and active, and I'm done. I'm done with the stories, and I'm done with what has happened to me, okay? This is the desire for change, the catalyzing force. Then we start going down the healing. So this is the trauma side. This is what happened to you. This is what you're doing about it, okay? All you have to do is decide, I don't want to experience this anymore. From there, you connect to your truth. What is your truth? What is your truth? I mean, that's a big question for you. What is your truth? Your truth is, I'm bigger than what's happened to me. Your truth is, I know I can be physically healthy and strong. Your truth is, I don't have to live in pain every day. The truth is, I didn't have to inherit this shit from my grandmother and my great-grandmother and all the way down my line. The truth is, you don't want to have this experience of your life anymore. You want to feel good and strong, okay? So now we're over here. So once you find your voice and begin to speak your truth, then you're able to recall the memory of your trauma without pain. That's how you know your heart center is healed. When you can go back to that trauma, whatever happened to you when you were 5 or 2 or 40, and your heart doesn't seize up, that's how you know okay, that you have started the healing process. From being able to recall the memory without pain, you then find power in your truth. Remember over here, you lost your power when the trauma happened. Now that you're anchored in truth, your truth, not anybody else's truth, your truth. Now you're finding your power again in that truth. You're able then to hold intimacy again without fear, no matter what happened to you. And finally, last but not least, okay, there's an affirmation of safety and security. And this is the big deal. There's now a healing of all childhood trauma that is echoed in your current events. Let me just say that one more time. We are healing childhood trauma that is echoed in your current life. So let's play out an example of this, okay? Maybe your parents abandoned you or didn't want you or made you feel like you were less important than a sibling, okay? Maybe that happened to you. Sage Goddess is next to a fire station, and so if you're wondering why there's sirens all the time, they live here, and that's just happening. We always send prayers and blessings to whoever that ambulance is for. Okay, so whatever happened to you in your early life, it is echoed. So if your parents rejected you and then a partner rejects you, what happens? All of a sudden, it's not just about the partner rejecting you, is it? It's about your parent rejecting you. And so that previous trauma gets anchored in a current event. And so whatever the partner does is amplified 20 times. Does that make sense to you? Or at work, right? Maybe when you were growing up, somebody told you, a teacher told you you weren't very smart. And then at work, somebody tells you, oh, you're not doing a good enough job. What happens? It's not just your boss telling you you're not doing a good enough job. Now it's also your third grade teacher who told you you weren't successful or weren't smart. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Now, if you're scared about visiting the past, I understand that. There's no way around it, my sweet friends. I would be lying to you if I told you that it was possible to do this work without going back into the past. And what I want to encourage you to do too is make sure you have a beautiful, safe space to connect with people and to share your experiences and to dialogue. We do that in my class groups. So if you're in our class groups, our Facebook groups are really good places too, especially the Magical Sabbatical is a really good place to come and say, hey, all this stuff is coming up for me. Can we dialogue about this? Make sure you have an ally in your life, because as you stir up some of this stuff, you're going to need a place to anchor some of that. And sometimes you can expect what you're going to feel, and sometimes you don't expect what you're going to feel. So just be prepared. Make sure you have an ally in your space. Okay, here's what I want you to know. This is going to be the exercise part of what we're going to do. We're going to go for about 10 more minutes if you guys can stay with me. I know we're at the top of the hour, but I have more to tell you. Okay, there is, and here's where the shamanic piece comes in. Are you ready? There is a replica of you. There is an energetic version of you that exists in another realm. This is my personal belief, through which you are already at your ideal weight and health. There is a perfectly healthy you that exists outside of you in another dimension, okay? The work that we're doing is trying to access that version of you and to be able to align where you are today with that frequency, with that vibration, with that healing. That other you, whether you call it your higher self or your sister self or your brother self, that other you, I love it, has already released the trauma, has already released the weight, has already aligned their system. Your work is to connect current you with that you. Does that make sense? A hologram, that's exactly right. So my students already know about this. We've been talking about holographic healing in my Magical Sabbatical class, because if you want to do any kind of healing at all, physical or energetic, you create a hologram of yourself in that perfectly healed whole state, and then you connect your current reality with that one and you merge them. And I feel like that's what I was able to do. And that's why I'm saying I'm teaching you from a place of knowing. Now here's the thing, it's such a great question from Atomic Darling. She's saying, what if you can't remember your trauma? The best part is you don't have to remember what it is. And here's the reality, and I'll share this with you from my own personal experience. A good chunk of the stuff I was dealing with wasn't even from this lifetime, you guys. So I couldn't possibly know what it was. Kudos to you if you know exactly what the trauma is that you need to heal. What I know for sure from having done years of shamanic journey work and exploration and healing and pranic breath work and all this stuff that I do, is that I don't actually know where all the trauma is. And so what we're going to do right now is an exercise. Are you ready? I'm just going to open a little sacred circle for us to do this work in. Calling in our guides right now, higher selves, holographic selves who are in perfect and whole health. I'm going to light my releasing candle because we're going to be doing a little bit of releasing. If you have my releasing candle, this would be a good time to work with yours too. Calling in energies of releasing and surrender. And your ritual for doing work like this can be very, very simple, you guys. It does not have to be complex on any level. It can be very, very, very simple for you. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to call in your guides and my guides. We're going to call in the guides of the group. So we're just calling all of our guides to surround and support us, especially guides for our health and healing. We do have separate guides for different energy streams that we're working on in life. And so for a lot of us, we do have health guides. So we're calling in those health guides. Well, and so I love seeing how you guys are supporting each other in the feed too. This is exactly what you need. So, you know, and that's the beautiful part of these classes too, is that you guys can also be echoing and providing support in the comments in addition to what you're learning from me. So beautiful guides who support our health and healing, we call upon you this afternoon. We call upon you to connect with each person who's watching right now live and each person who'll be watching later. A recording, maybe they're not able to join us live. So we're just asking for a blessing upon each person who's in this circle today. And we're asking, guides, that you help to identify the source of trauma that's living in our bodies as hard and stored fat. Help us to identify, show us where those blockages are in our bodies. Help us to identify them. And I always say, show me where the blocks are without causing me pain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to show you a block by making your shoulder hurt. I want them to show you a block by, and you can maybe ask them as you're looking at yourself energetically, maybe ask them to turn certain parts of your body a deep indigo color for you, just in an image of yourself so that you can see with your knowing eye, you can see the places in yourself where there's blocks. So help us to identify the places in our bodies where energy, stuck energy is holding us, is anchored in us. And guides, we give you permission right now to come through and just send a beautiful white beam of divine white light, pure white light, of just a pure frequency of love and clarity and allowing and healing. We're calling in just a divine channel of healing right now to come and push through any of the places in each of us where there is a block. Pushing through the abdomen where we have this stored fat, pushing through, you know, our chest where we have chest pain, pushing through our shoulders where a lot of us are storing this lower, you know, this upper back pain and lower back pain down the sciatic, pushing through our legs. And just imagine a fountain, literally a fountain of pure white divine light coming up from above, from the earth itself, and then down through your energy centers and just pushing, and pushing through any blocks, removing any stuck or stagnant energy that will make it difficult for us to activate this higher level of physical awareness, this higher level of physical healing and balance. And guides, and I do this a lot too, I'll call in the guides and I will say, I give you permission, guides, to alkalize my system, to remove any excess acid on my behalf. I give you permission to come in and clear blocks of any place that were stored hard fat that is the result of trauma, any trauma that needs to be released. Trauma from the past, the present, the future. And I always say that, trauma from the past, the present, the future. Be very clear about that. Give your guides permission to release trauma that is stored from the past, the present, and future. And you can even do a beautiful addition to this where you say, you imagine two streams of energy. This is your maternal line, your right hand. This is your paternal line. This is your dad's family over here, okay? And you can give the permission just to go down the lines. I give you permission to go down the maternal line and to clear any karmic baggage around healing or health, any diseases that have come down the maternal line, any coping mechanisms that have been dysfunctional, any reliance on food or food groups that is not in service to my body's perfect health and ideal weight. And then down the paternal line, I give you permission, guides, to release any karmic debt or baggage related to health and healing. I give you permission to release me and to everyone in the circle. If you get permission, you'll have to say that. To release us from the bondage of any diseases that have been passed down the paternal line, any desires for food or food groups, any cravings that are not in service to our ideal health and our perfect weight. Giving permission to clear those lines, and then clearing forward. You know, I give them permission to clear ahead, clear anything from my line or from my husband's line that we're passing to the children, anything that isn't in service to their perfect and ideal health. And just imagine those lines cleared. I mean, really think about this. what you're doing right now. You might be letting go of hundreds, if not thousands of years right now in this moment of what is not serving you. And the other thing you can do too, and you can use any form of stone for this. You can use wands for this. I like to use eggs or palm stones. This is blue apatite for weight loss. You can actually go through and do an auric exercise where you go through and you actually ask your guides to work through the egg or the palm stone to slough off any energy that is not in alignment with your perfect health and ideal weight. And make sure you always do your back too, because a lot of stuff gets stored back here. There's a lot of energy behind you. In fact, you always should smudge behind you too. Pass your smudging bowl behind you and then bring it around to the front. Just releasing, releasing, releasing. Letting go, letting go, letting go. So those are some fun, quick exercises that you can do. And I want you to give yourself a moment. I want you to imagine this is the last part of the exercise for today. What we might do as a part 2, if you guys are interested, I would love the feedback. What we could do as a part 2 to this is actually go through and do an hour of a full cleansing, clearing on each chakra. And what I thought about doing was creating mantras for each of the chakra that you can recite, because in my groups we're working with malas, right, which is to recite your mantra 108 times. If you'd like, I can do a follow-up to this where I actually write the mantras for each of the chakras to help you clear and balance the chakras, which would be sort of a next level down exercise from what we're doing tonight. So let me know what you think of that. But I want to give you a moment. I want you to imagine, okay? Imagine out in front of you, maybe 5 feet ahead of you. I want you to project out a hologram, a virtual you, okay? And I want you to imagine this. This is so important, okay? Close your eyes and really crystallize this with me, okay? I'm telling you, this is probably one of the most, maybe the top 3 things that I did that I know for sure had an impact. And we're going to do this now, and then I want you to do this every day. Just do it before you get out of bed in the morning, so that way you don't forget, okay? I want you to project out in front of you, 5 feet ahead of you, okay? A holographic image of yourself. If you don't know what that means, just imagine sort of an ethereal, gauzy, soul portrait of yourself, right? Just a sort of an image of yourself, a secondary image of yourself that is exactly where you want to be. What would that look like? And I want you to imagine everything. How would your arms look? How would your legs look? How would your face look? Perfect ideal for you, not me. This is for you. How would your stomach look? How would you feel? Would your arms and shoulders not ache anymore? Would your digestive tract be nice and smooth, and would you be regular, you know? Would you not have pain down your sciatic? That was a big thing for me. Would your urinary tract and your digestive tract be clear without any pain or dysfunction? Would you not have cluster headaches anymore? Did you know that cluster headaches are a result of acidosis? Did you know that? I have clients who are practically suicidal because of cluster headaches. It's acid that's causing that. Would you not have cluster headaches? What would it be for you? And I want you to project that image out. Perfect weight, perfect feeling, perfect everything for you, but make it realistic, okay? Like for me, there are people I'm sure who would tell me I should probably lose 10 more pounds. I'm kind of happy with where I am. If I didn't have some curves and a little bit of love right here and boobs, I wouldn't feel very confident. So what I'm saying is my ideal might not be your ideal for me. I want you to project out your ideal for you, okay? Totally clear, visualizing, okay? And Lisa, if you're having trouble visualizing, if you have an old picture of yourself where you were at your ideal, use that, because that can still function as a hologram. Every picture of you is a hologram of you. Did you know that? So anyway, use that. If you have a really hard time sort of, pulling up the image, just use an old image of yourself and use that as your hologram. And now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine merging. So call the hologram into yourself and imagine pushing your own energy field to connect. And I want you to imagine merging with that ideal you. The you with more energy, the you without pain, the you where your clothes fit comfortably, the you where you have freedom to move, the you where your fibro isn't bothering you 24 hours a day, the you where your cluster headaches are gone. Just merging all of that together, okay? This is the point of integration, you guys. This is the point of healing. This is a quantum exercise, by the way. This is quantum mechanics. This is quantum physics. This is the next level of energy work. This is way beyond metaphysical hoo-ha. This is actually us doing a quantum exercise together to manifest a vision that doesn't exist yet, but already exists in an etheric realm, but we're actually pulling it into the material realm. Does that make sense to you? This is quantum energy. So I want you to imagine really pushing through and almost just crossing your fingers, like letting that hologram self of, I love that, but Bianca says her projection is really sexy. Girl, you should get it. Really imagine your current self and that hologram self merging and connecting. And take just a second to let yourself feel what that's like. The moment you can feel it, not just see it, but feel it in your own body, that's how you know you've made contact, okay? You have made contact. And that's all you have to do. And then every day, and you can choose to light a candle and make a ritual out of it. I definitely would anoint with your oil before you do this, because what's going to happen is every time you smell that smell, it's going to trigger a reaction in you, and it's going to reconnect you to this whole energy stream. This is half of the work. The avocados and the lemons and the apple cider vinegar are not going to do much if you're not over here projecting a vision of yourself, crystallizing it, connecting to it, and integrating it, bringing it into the material plane from the etheric plane. That's the other half of the work. And by the way, this other half, I love it. Maya says her hologram's a badass, and she's doing a crow pose. I love that. When your hologram is doing yoga poses, that's how you know you have arrived. You're able to totally visualize that. Doesn't matter. And honestly, your hologram doesn't have to have a face, right? Like if it's hard for you to really imagine your full self, just focus on your body, or just focus on your, whatever your real trouble area is. The two things I want to tell you is, first of all, doing this to inspire you. I lost weight in areas I hadn't ever been able to lose weight. I'd always had kind of bigger thighs. I have lost inches in my thighs. And again, I'm not running. So this is just about your body conforming to an ideal that's supporting you. And I'm able to move more freely and dance more freely, having a little less going on downtown. You know what I mean? Like that was slowing me down. So part of my intention was having smaller legs so that I can move more freely. Okay. Once you feel like you have contact, all I want you to commit to is every day I want you to go back, project the hologram, be in the material, connect them, integrate, call in that visual once a day, every day. The other thing, so let's talk about daily, okay? And I'm going to blow out my candle. Grateful for everything that we have released together. I always watch my smoke when I blow out a candle, because that's your offering, That's the part of the ritual that's your offering to the divine. I'm grateful for the chance to have had this experience and the chance to be able to share it with you. I really believe this is a revolution. I totally think that. Okay, Jennifer's asking, I didn't catch the beginning of this video, but was wondering on the blockage parts, when you see your body self white but holes in certain areas, is that just holes needing filled in? Okay, so what I recommend, if you did the part with me with your guides, ask your guides to make it clear what is a blockage versus what we call an auric tear, okay? Your aura can develop holes in it from people draining your energy, from psychic attack, from lots of other things. There are stones you can use to do auric repair. Obsidian is the #1 stone actually for repairing your aura. So if you have any obsidian, you can actually take your wand and wave it around you. This wand has an obsidian arrowhead, so I use it for that. So this is my auric protection wand, but anything with obsidian, even a palm stone, will be very helpful for that. Okay, so here's what you can do every day. Final fast tips, and then I'm going to go prep the 6 o'clock ritual and hopefully see you at 6 o'clock for Shiva and Shakti tonight. Final quick tips that you need to know about. I would like you to drink 1 to 2 teaspoons a day of apple cider vinegar, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, in about 2 to 4 ounces of water. If you want to supercharge it, add the juice of half a lemon in the morning and at night. You should do that every day. The apple cider vinegar is part of the secret to my success. So if I would be remiss in not mentioning it to you. I haven't gone a day without taking apple cider vinegar in a year. I travel with it. I have a little travel size. You should do that, okay? If you can't do that, you need to purchase alkalized water. You can get it at Whole Foods. Kangen Water is a company that actually develops and offers faucets, and actually on Amazon, the best thing you can do, there's actually a little, like a Brita filter, but it's for alkalizing water. So all you have to do is put it in your sink, fill it up, and it will automatically alkalize the water for you, and then you just use your filter, your little pitcher. That's a great thing to do, especially for kids, because you can replace all of their drinking water with alkalized water. I want you to have an avocado every day. It's going to help your skin look younger. It's going to alkalize your system. I want you to have a banana every day. Potassium, it's so important for your body, especially women as we get older. We need potassium. If you're having muscle aches and pains, a lot of times it's linked to a lack of potassium in your system. You might be thinking, I'm getting potassium, but if you have an acidic environment, it's leaching the potassium out of your system. And so you're not getting the potassium that you think you need. It's really, really important. So start to make a ritual out of this. Sometimes I don't do this so much anymore, but in the early stages when I had to make this kind of special in order to get myself into it, I had a special glass that I used for my morning ACV with water, a little bit of lemon. I have a lemon tree in my yard, so going and picking a lemon and cutting it can be part of your ritual too. 1 to 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. I do 2 teaspoons in the morning, 2 at night. You can do 1 in the morning and 1 at night until you sort of work yourself up. I don't do more than that. And make sure that you are diluting it. You do not want to drink apple cider vinegar straight, okay? It is acid. It's an alkalizing acid, but you don't want a bunch of that in your mouth without water to dilute it. Does that make sense? The pills have not worked for me. The apple cider vinegar pills, I tried it because I travel so much, and I thought it'd be an easier way for me to travel. I no longer use them, and so I travel with the liquid in bottles that are small enough to get through airport security. I hope you enjoyed this class. It was my pleasure to bring it to you. I am so excited for you because truly, if you follow what we're talking about tonight, even if you only follow certain parts of it, you're still going to see results. And so I want you to keep me posted about how you're doing. Go on the event page. That can be a beautiful way for us to continue engaging, talking, sharing tips. I'll put the list of what to eat and what not to eat there. Your trauma image is there. I definitely recommend, especially because we've got the 15% off code right now with code MOON. So you're going to save 15% off of Alkalize. Alkalize has a bunch of essential oils in it. But the main ones are myrrh and lavender and lemongrass and ginger. Those are going to alkalize your skin. Skin is the third biggest organ that's responsible for the adjustment of your pH balance. And so it's really, really important that you treat your skin well too. All right, everybody. Well, stay tuned. I will, since you're all interested, I will create part 2 over the next few weeks, and maybe we can do that in late June or early July to pick this up. And it'd be a fun way for us to check back in. How are you doing? What's working? How many pounds have you lost? This can become sort of our ongoing support group too, which would be really fun because I can't wait to see your progress. That's what makes my heart beat fast. When I see people saying, I've been using ACV for a week and I've already lost 4 pounds, or I've been, my skin is already looking clear, or I was having acne. Do you know that acne is acidosis? I mean, it's really, and so for me as a mom, I'm excited because when my kids go through their adolescent years, if their skin starts to change and have a lot of acne, I can also help them with their skin. I mean, it's almost like this reaches every part of your life when you think about it. We are changing our lives, and we're going to get ourselves well. We're going to get ourselves out of this broken healthcare system, and we're going to regain our strength and our health. And this, my friends, how does this relate to Sage Goddess? I'm about creating sovereignty for you. I'm about you being in your strongest sense of personal power. And you can't do that if you're not healthy. And that's why when I put all this together for myself this year, I thought to myself, this is it. This is the final frontier. It took me 45 years to figure shit out. But I'm here and you're here, and I will stand by you and hold your hand while you go through this process. And then in a year from now, I'm serious, in a year from now, we're going to celebrate how far you've come. I cannot wait for your before and after. That will be the true reward for me in all of this. All right, you guys, I will see you in just a bit. We've got 40 minutes till full moon ritual. We're going to do belly dancing. We're going to be talking about Shiva and Shakti, the divine union of masculine and feminine, and about getting you into your goddess power. It's all related. So I can't wait. I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.